Yeah, the finished product's working. We just need a good amount of snow to actually test it. Ripped the bolts right through the rear plastic bumper when we put it on the jack stand, so we gotta try and fix that. Other than that, it's working all right. Trying out reverse. So we put almost 60 miles on this thing, and yeah, it's back in the shop. Well, this time it's in for some emergency powder upgrades. We're going to put some wider skis on it, probably try to adjust that suspension, get that to ride a little bit better. Handlebar riser, all that stuff that goes with it. So when we took this thing for a ride finally, we found out that this thing has the infamous cracked filler neck, which was awesome. You know, we had gas spilling everywhere. Now what you can't see is underneath this electrical tape is alternating layers of like that stretchy rubber friction tape with rubber bands around it, and more friction tape, and finally some electrical tape, you know, just for moral support. And so far it's been keeping the gas in there, so you know, we're going to continue on to essential mods like handlebar risers and skis instead of actually fixing this. We'll worry about that when it starts leaking again. Well, that just took care of the most important part of the build. So we got a ski kit that came with everything included for a really good price. It was like $299 for both skis and the whole shebang. However, the saddles were not for an older model sled like that. However, I didn't want to pay an extra $80 to try and, you know, custom piece and a la carte build the whole set that I needed. So, you know, we gave it a calibrated eyeball, and boy, they looked pretty dang close. So we took the chance and just bought them. Well, turns out they're slightly off in size, but in the right way. They were for a smaller metric bolt, and the older ones take a 7/16, so just had to drill them out. Good to go. Nothing like taking parts fresh out of the package and starting to hack them. Well, hopefully these fancy new skis will help avoid the Titanic syndrome that we used to have. So we got them on there. And since we can never leave anything alone, we ended up trying a different spring in the primary clutch because I think this thing should be quicker than it is. So if it's not broke, fix it till it is. And we got a brand new used secondhand belt on there now, and an extra one there. Got an extra one in the trunk too, because I have a feeling we might be burning belts in the deep stuff. Yeah, the chain case is still leaking, so we'll have to figure that out eventually. We adjusted the front limiter straps out almost the whole way, increased the spring pressure there, took out the coupling blocks in the rear of the suspension. We rebolted the bumper on here so it's not you know, sitting up to one side. Handlebar riser came out, well, as good as to be expected. It's about a 3-inch rise and about an inch forward. Could actually use about another 2 inches or so vertical, but I don't know if that steering post will handle it. I mean, there's kind of enough play already in it, so we don't want to break it. And we also ditched the sway bar because that's not going to help in powder, and you know, the 4 pounds that we take off the front end of this thing, every little bit's going to help. We got the tactical bungee strap on there. Well, here it is in operating condition. At the moment, we got snowshoes and a snow bungee on there because we need all the help we can get to try to stay unstuck. So here we go with a test drive. I think this is the second time on a snowmobile. First time on a Thundercat. Yeah. You ready for this?
Yep.
Good luck. Almost into the trees. Oh, this is going to end badly. Hey, he did it! Did you hit the camera button?
No, I'm videoing you.
Alright, hit stop.
Alright, where's stop's the equal? Alright, here we go. There we go. Alright, here we go. What was that?
So people often ask me, why do you continue to drive old junk, when there's the option of something newer? And yeah, that's a valid question. I mean, in this day and age, I mean, moving along with modern technology, that seems like the obvious thing to do. So then why does antiquated and outdated and cumbersome, equipment have such a draw? And that's something that's always a tough answer, to provide. And there's not just one answer to this question either. I mean, there's a few factors that go into this type of a thing. Part of that is, just being different. The average person just doesn't have the motivation or wherewithal or, state of mind, to continue driving something that's outdated, more work. It's constantly going to require upkeep, maintenance, all these other things that are just, a general pain in the rear end. You could probably say that, there's a bit of a constant challenge and reassurance and affirmation that you can actually overcome an obstacle. You're doing something that's the hard way, and there's satisfaction that comes along with the hard way. Part of it's nostalgia. I mean, going old school is definitely a way to kind of reconnect and, get a feel for how things were back in the day. I mean, I hate to add the comparison of like time travel, but going old school is definitely the closest you can get at times to the physical realities of, yesteryear. Driving a vehicle with only roll-up windows and, manually adjustable seats. Whew, I mean, talk about primitive. And it's things like that, sort of in the subconscious, that can add to the overall experience and ambiance of, riding in an old car or, an older vehicle or whatever. It's a lot of the things you don't, actively seek out that kind of add to the experience and subconsciously contribute to the old school effect. Part of it's the satisfaction and, having other people realize that, older technology can still coexist and can work in modern day, Something that might only have, 8 inches of suspension travel. Well, by golly, it can still work. Might not be as good as the, most modern equivalent, but it worked for years and, long distance trips, like road trips and things of the like. That's all stuff that, most people wouldn't even consider in an old and unreliable type, vehicle. Well, it's a really good feeling to be able to prove them wrong and, go out and do it. And worst case scenario, if something does happen, well, you're getting an adventure and you're going to get your money's worth on that adventure. So when you see somebody out there, cruising in an outdated, old school, or, what you would consider just something not worthy of being out on the road or the trail, think about it. Either that person's, using what they got, and that on its own right is pretty respectable to me, or, they're out actively choosing to run something old, and not the status quo. Taking the hard route, it's not always the easiest, but you know what? A lot of times it's the most interesting, that's for sure. And I'm not trying to say that, old school is the only way to go. That's definitely not the case. I mean, I don't want to go old school all the time. I might try, but, you can only do so much at times. And always remember, when you're out there, keep your standards low and your spirits high.